Hello, everyone. It's Chelsea here. We are live on Facebook. The beautiful Frances Woolf. We're here for an interview about your new book, The Diamond Within. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you, Chelsea. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. Just wanted to quickly just make sure that we're streaming properly online, just make sure everything is set up properly. It looks great. Perfect. Okay, so just a really quick intro of both of us for those that are watching that are from Frances's world or from my world, just so you know.
Just make sure everything is set up properly.
Hold on.
Both of us, for those that are watching that are from.
There we go. It was playing on Facebook as well. All right, apologies for that. So I am Chelsea. I am a success and empowerment coach and the creator of the Comeback Queen group and programs, and also have a weekly live series called Multifaceted, and was introduced to Frances maybe about 8 to 10 months ago, and had the pleasure of reading your book. Frances is a spiritual and holistic therapist who supports and empowers people through their life changes, difficulties, and traumas using an eclectic approach. And I know a lot of what you do, you discuss in your book and your philosophy, and I'm so excited to dig into that. When I read your book, when I had the pleasure of reading your book, it just helped me tremendously. It felt very divine, even the way that the book came to me and just the beautiful messages within it. So I'll just quickly read my review, and then I would love to have you share a little bit about it before we get into the questions. I forgot to ask you, are you okay at the end if any viewers have any questions for you? Because we can.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, so this is what I wrote. When I received this book, I had the feeling that there was an important message within it that I needed to learn at that moment in time. Sure enough, almost each section held within it a gem of knowledge that helped to take my spiritual journey and understanding to a deeper level. Frances's teachings in The Diamond Within offers a refreshing and highly integrated perspective on why we are here and how we can best understand and employ the gifts we were given. It's just such an incredible book, an incredible message. So thank you so much for being here, Frances. We'd love to just hear how you're doing and, share anything that you want to share about what's going on in your world. And I know you wanted to do a prayer for us to begin as well.
Yes, thank you very much. So I always like to start with a prayer. I think it sets the right intention up and the right energy for a lot of us to come together. So please join me just for a moment in prayer. So I call in the guides, the angels, the elementals, the ethereals into this interview, into this meeting, to use me and you as pure, wise channels for the highest love and light. May each and every person receive the guidance that they need. May they hear the words to inspire them. May they receive the guidance that they need to point them in the right direction of finding their own answers, their own inner wisdom, their own strength. May they hear that which they need to hear. May they see that which they need to see. And may they understand that which they need to understand. And I leave this space now in the divine keeping, knowing that all that is said and done is only done in the highest of love, light, and truth. So let it be. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. All right. So we'll dive into the questions. I have quite a few things I would like to ask you about. And the first one is if you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, your story, and what guided you to write The Diamond Within.
I've been walking a spiritual path most of my life, even from a child. And I was very well aware as a child that adults misused their power. And I knew more than I was able to say, and I knew more than I was necessarily able to express. And certainly most of the adults around me didn't understand when I was sharing things that I knew from a point of knowing. I was dyslexic as a child, so whilst I enjoyed knowledge and acquiring information, it was hard for me to read and write. And for many people that have such difficulties, they seem to compensate by feeling more and becoming more aware. I was always a very super sensitive child. I'm an empath, so I was well aware of how people felt, what emotions they were feeling, even if they weren't saying, even if they had a visual mask, I knew things about them. I knew about their pain. And I was very well aware of that as a child. I later trained, when I was about 17, I trained as a nursery nurse, and realized that I needed more power, that I needed more ways to protect the children that I was working with. I felt very useless to protect the abused children. So I then went on to train as a social worker in child abuse. And again, all the time that I was working, little did I know that spirit was guiding me. I knew things about the children I was working with. I knew things about the clients that I was working with, although they'd never told me. And I just assumed that everybody had the same abilities. It wasn't, I didn't consider that I was different. I didn't consider that I had a special gift. It was just the way I was. It was only much later on in life, I think I was about 30 at the time, a friend of mine who I'd grown up with said to me, "It's you I've been looking for." And I said, "Pardon?" She said, "I've been given a message that I'm supposed to train you up as a medium, that you've been gifted and you have this ability and you've had it all your life, but you didn't know." And I thought, who's this weird woman? I've really got to get her out of my front room, you know, not the sort of woman I want in my room. I thought this was a bit like hocus pocus and, you know, weird stuff, really. But cut a long story short, I went to a spiritual church, and unbeknown to me, she'd put my name on the list to go up and demonstrate. And the next thing, I'm up on the platform demonstrating, giving out messages and descriptions and guidance. And I honestly didn't know how it was happening. And it shocked me too, to be honest with you. But I had also trained as a spiritual healer before that. So I was walking a path of trying to empower other people. And then I started working as a circuit medium. So I was going around the spiritual churches, taking divine services, channeling philosophy. I also have a degree in psychology, and I also am a counsellor and a hypnotherapist. So it was all of my skills were being pulled together. And I noticed that as I was working as a medium, that people were sharing similar life traumas. They were sharing similar life experiences. And as I became more aware of this, Spirit started to say to me, you need to share this in a book. The way you share this information with people and empower them will help a lot of people. You need to put this into a book. And I thought, no, nobody wants to read what I've got to say. You know, I'm no different from anybody else. And they must have nagged me for years and years. They gave me the name of the book. They gave me the front cover of the book. And obviously I was being given all the content through the work that I was doing. And eventually, one day, a partner at the time said to me, I bought you a computer. Now you've got no excuse. You've got to sit down and write the book. And it was as if by magic, I sat down every day in front of the computer at 11 o'clock after I'd taken my dogs for a walk. I have lots of animals, by the way. I have 15. I have a menagerie. I'm also a single mum, and my daughter's now 31. And so I started typing every day, 11 o'clock, and the wisdom just flowed. Every day, the information they wanted me to type just appeared on the computer so easily. And as I was walking the dogs, more information came to me. And as I was doing other activities, so the information kept flowing. And I think it must have been it took about 3 months for the totality of the book to come into fruition. Mm-hmm. But that was the easy bit, Chelsea. Mm-hmm. The hard bit was then trying to make some sense of it and trying to pull it together and put it in a readable format, to be honest with you. And that's taken many moons and many suns, and my daughter going through it and checking the spelling, and my formatter in India having a go at it. But finally, years on, we have the finished article, and that's what you received. So that's how it came about, really. I didn't believe that I had anything worth sharing, but Spirit kept on. They kept pushing me, and they kept prodding me, and they kept nudging me till eventually I gave in, because I'm quite stubborn in that aspect. So yeah, so I'm glad to say that finally it's come to fruition and it's manifested. And I just hope it holds the wisdom and the guidance and the light that people need at the moment in the universe. We're going through a huge ascension, a huge universal world change, and more people need to connect with their own strength, their own wisdom, their own intuition. And I just hope the book plays a part in that.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I'm just so thrilled that we're going to be able to go through it a little bit more and just share more here today with those who are watching, and just really, I mean, yes, absolutely. This moment in time, it seems that it all turned out perfectly, you know, just in perfect timing, even though it did feel like it took quite a lot of time. But it's just, you know, I'm very grateful for you. I'm grateful for what I've received from it. And I'm so excited for more and more people to experience this. So you may have answered a little bit more of my second question. I wanted to ask you what your experience of writing the book was like for you. Did you discover new things about yourself in this writing process?
First of all, I had to learn to trust Spirit, which might sound a very bizarre thing to say, but obviously, like love, we're dealing with an invisible energy. And whilst I can see and I can hear and I can sense when I'm working as a medium, when I'm channeling the information, it comes through automatically. So straight through into my mind, and it becomes part of my thought process. So I realized that I was quite a good channel, but I also realized that I was aware of quite a lot of information that I hadn't been aware of, that throughout my life, as with many of us, we acquire lots of, through the experiences, we acquire lots of wisdom. And we're not necessarily aware that the wisdom can help other people and can empower other people. But the way Spirit were giving it to me was showing me that the way I interpreted my experiences could actually offer people a different way of looking at their life, a different way of interpreting their experiences, and put a positive slant on everyday life occurrences that at times appear hard, at times appear difficult, at times appear traumatic. And if by just having a different perspective perspective and a different perception of what we're going through, we can actually change the way we colour that experience. And so that's what I learned from the process of doing the book. I also learnt that I'm no good at computers, that I'm a technological idiot, and that really I don't get on with anything technological. I mean, even the Hoover's hard work for me, and the mobile phone. So, you know, I had to keep screaming at my daughter to come and rescue me. And I was always looking at any excuse as to not to go on the computer. I mean, initially I started off writing it the old-fashioned way, pen and paper. And then soon realised that that wasn't going to work, because I had reams of the stuff, pages and pages everywhere, a bit like the mad professor, you know, and then I was trying to stick and tape bits of paper together, and that just wasn't working either. And obviously it's much easier with the computer to paste and cut and move about. And but yes, so I've had to learn a little bit of patience with myself with the computer, but I still don't like it very much.
Well, just wonderful that you're able to work through all of that, right? And I guess it's also just representative of what you were just saying, that even some of the drudgeries in our life, you know, there's goodness in them. So I'm glad that you
absolutely. And I'm human at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you share about what the diamond within is? What is this diamond within us?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me first of all state that each and every one of us is unique. Each and every one of us comes in with a divine contract, things that we've agreed that we're going to experience in life. And part of that divine contract is also that we agree to go through certain life experiences, that we agree to meet certain people, and we also agree to share our own unique gifts. And the diamond within, which sits in the middle of the heart space, just in the middle of the breastbone, is the diamond, a metaphorical diamond, and it looks like a diamond, like the diamond on the book. And a real diamond, as we know, is a very precious gem. And a real diamond is formed by being pressured. The carbon is pressurized until it forms a beautiful, unique diamond. And each diamond is individual, each diamond is particular, and each diamond has its own facets, just like each and every one of us. And each and every one of us has these particular facets. And in each one of the facets, we have different gifts, different traits, different attributes. And part of our life journey is learning about what makes us shine, what makes us tick, what makes us radiate life and love, and what gives us that spark. And that all comes from the diamond within. But because of being in an earthly body, which is very dense, which is very heavy, and walking an earthly path, which is painful, which is full of traumatic experiences and difficult relationships, we start to cover the diamond over with pain, with shadows, with loss, with disappointment. And soon we forget how bright we are. We soon forget how strong we are. We soon forget how powerful we are. And we soon forget what makes us resonate, what makes us shine. And we begin to conform. We're born into families that are wounded because they don't know where their diamond is. And they teach us particular ways, they teach us their beliefs, they teach us their truths. And because as children we don't know any better, we just take it on board, we just absorb it. And we then conform to what society expects. And we get taught things in schools that really don't teach us how to connect to our own intuition, that doesn't teach us how to sit still and quiet and hear our own inner thoughts, to recognize what our heart's saying to us. We're just taught how to read, how to write, how to add up, how to sit still, how to behave, how not to talk when an adult's talking. And we're taught very little skills that will empower us to live a vibrant, full life. So the book is very much about reconnecting each and every person to their own authentic, unique self, that diamond within, the aspect of themselves that is contained within their own diamond.
Wow. Even just hearing about the diamond, it just resonates. It really, you just literally feel it, this beautiful connection. It just feels like such a truth. And this experience that we've all had of going through schooling, I want to go to your school, where we actually get to learn this, right? From a young age. Can you imagine what children would be like right from the get-go if they're able to really fully express themselves and connect? This is such a beautiful...
Absolutely. I mean, just to share with everybody, I was bullied at school. I didn't get on at school. The normal routine that everybody has to go through, at the 9-to-5 school didn't resonate with me. It didn't sit well with me. And it's only as I left school and really after my 30s that I've started to come into my own energy. I've started to come into my own power. And as you say, wouldn't it be wonderful if children were taught, how to meditate, how to connect to mindfulness, how to recognize what love feels like for themselves, how to recognize their own self-confidence, their own unique abilities, rather than having to be a doctor, a lawyer, a pharmacist, a dentist, a shop assistant. Those are all just parts of life's lessons, part of the tools that we use walking the life journey. They are not who we are. They are not what make us individual. They're not what give us our light, our brightness, our truth.
Absolutely. Well, it's so wonderful to just receive this message, because it immediately gets us all thinking about, okay, what does this mean for me, right? So, and I know that in a moment, we're going to go through a meditation where you actually allow us to visit this within ourselves. So we're going to do that in a minute. I have a couple more questions. One of the ones, so when I think about the diamond within, I think about a book, an author, Caroline Myss, who wrote The Anatomy of the Spirit, and she talks about symbolic sight within that book, which is this ability for us to understand these concepts that you're talking about. We have our 3D world that we live in that, we just see things a certain way, but it's such a gift for this, because that to me is, my understanding of what the diamond within it is. It's a form of symbolic sight that you can actually visualize this diamond and we can learn from it, but it's also a way that you've received these messages from spirit through symbolism, which is so incredibly beautiful. So I just want to know a little bit more about kind of how you receive this information, because I know for me, as soon as I read that, I realized, kind of like what you were saying earlier, doesn't everybody get information this way? Doesn't everyone receive symbols? But just in case if this isn't familiar to some, can you share a little bit about that, how these symbols come to you, how you actually saw this diamond?
Well, let me first of all give people some guidelines how they can connect to their own inner wisdom. I think that's really important. Mm-hmm. Everything in life is energy, okay? Everything is composed of energy, but it depends on its purpose as to the form it takes. So whether it's a human being, whether it's an animal, whether it's a crystal, whether it's a tree, it will take on its own form and its own shape, dependent on what its divine purpose is meant to be. Okay, so everything has an energy. Now, for the human form, spirit communicating with us all the time. Now, I don't want some people to be shocked and think, no, are they talking to me now? Are they seeing me? Are they watching me? If I'm sitting on the toilet, if I'm on the bath, if I'm in an intimate relationship, surely they can't be watching me every moment. No, it's not quite like that. The spirit world is made up of energy. They perceive the light around us. Everything is in color, everything is in vibration, everything has a symbol. Now, your body acts also a bit like the mobile phone. So when you're having an experience, if something feels good for you, invariably you'll feel excited, and you might feel that in your stomach. You might feel butterflies. You might feel a slight increase in your heart rate. You might feel slightly warm. You might also energetically, emotionally feel excited. So that tells you, as a guidance, as a message, that choice that you're making is good for you, that's in a line with your highest good, and that is a path that you should consider walking. Now, there are times in our life also when we're faced with choices, and sometimes a choice might not sit well with us. We might feel unsettled. We might feel nervous. We might feel a little bit confused if we're in a conversation with somebody and someone's verbally smiling, but their words are saying something different. We might be picking up a confusion in the message. We might be picking up that there's a lie somewhere, a misalignment with what they're saying. And what's important is to recognize that the human body not only has a physical heart, but it also has a second heart, which is the stomach, our intuitive heart. And that guides us to messages, to acknowledging when something feels good or when something doesn't feel right, when something doesn't sit right for us. And sometimes we'll be faced with a situation where a door shuts, an opportunity shuts itself off, or a situation that we thought we were going to experience all of a sudden doesn't happen. And invariably, our bodies will pick up that information and that guidance. If ever anybody's made a choice whereby they immediately get a headache, or their stomach starts to hurt, or they feel sick, or, forgive me for saying so, they have to run to the toilet, know that that's a decision that is not right for them. It might not be right at that moment, or it might not be right at all. And it's important to acknowledge that. That's the way that the universe, the divine, is using your body to send messages to you. Mm. So when I received information for the book, I receive it telepathically, as I said, but also I receive it in the form of images, in the form of thought patterns, in the form of colours, and in the form of sensations, because invariably the spirit world does not use language. We as human beings use language, and language can be misunderstood and misconstrued. But how many of you recognize if someone makes you feel love, you feel it straight away. You can't deny that sensation, that feeling, that vibration. So energy is very truthful. It's very honest. It can't be misunderstood. It can't be false in any way. So when spirit were communicating with me for the book and also as a medium clairvoyant, they would always send me information in different forms of energy, whether it was visual energy, physical energy through sensations through my body, or through colors, or through telepathic energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the analogy of the mobile phone, it just makes so much sense. It's like you're receiving, just receiving this information in various formats. So
yeah, because I don't know about you, but I don't know how the phone works. I don't know how the computer works. All I know is that if I switch it on, and like now I'm connecting to you, your beautiful face is there. So it's the same with spirit. If spirit want to give me send me some information, they send it through. They give me the picture, they give me the information, it just comes. I don't know how they send it. I don't know how I receive it, although saying that I do train people up to receive the information, to receive their own intuition, because it is a muscle. It's like your heart. The more you work on it, the more you practice with it, the more you sit with it, the stronger the muscle becomes and the easier it becomes to receive the guidance. We all have the ability. It's just for some of us, we have stayed connected to that ability. Every child is born with the ability to connect to spirit. And by the time the child is about 5, once they start school or once they have to start conforming, meeting other children, the connection becomes weaker, especially if they don't have understanding parents and the parents say, stop speaking to your invisible friend. Who are you speaking to? And the child might say, oh, my friend, or they might be seen to be feeding their friend at the table and the parents look at them as if they're mad. The child has got an invisible friend. It's very much part of normal childhood. And it's only because we live in a very regimented Western society that we lose the connection. In Eastern society, in African society, it's encouraged. It's very much seen as a gift. It's relished, and even illnesses in African and Eastern society are classified as the soul awakening rather than the soul being diseased. Whereas in Western society, when someone becomes ill, we see it as dis-ease, a dysfunction, rather than as a coming home and the body trying to tell you something.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just like this, it just highlights this disconnection that we have from the physical and all of the energetic information around us. Thank you for explaining it that way. It just is really incredible to hear the depth of this and to also just be reminded of that all of us have this ability. It's something that we can all learn. So the next question is, how can understanding the concept of the diamond within help readers with their own spiritual journey?
I think it's really important for each and everybody to recognize that they already have their own answers, that we're all complete and whole as we are right now. It's just that we've forgotten it. It's just when we are born into a physical body, we all experience amnesia and we all forget that we hold our own answers, our own gifts, and our own resources. So it's about giving yourself time. It's about giving yourself permission to get off that hamster wheel and to sit still, maybe for 5 minutes every day, maybe longer if possible. And even if time is really stretched, I used to sit still when I was a single mum. The only place I could sit still was in the toilet, in the bathroom. So I'd sit still for 5 minutes, and invariably for a lot of people, that's a really good place just to sit still and be quiet, because I don't know whether it's the process of letting go metaphorically or physically, but we seem to gain inspiration in that state. But in terms of helping everybody, it's important to recognize that whilst we can ask other people for guidance, whilst we can discuss with other people when we need help, and ask for answers and ask for support, that actually the only person that really knows what is right for you is yourself. It's what resonates with you. It's what sits right for you. So it's again about listening to your body, listening to your heart, listening to your gut, your solar plexus, and feeling the energy, feeling how things sit with you. And so always bringing yourself back every time you make a decision, every situation, every relationship difficulty, bringing yourself back to ask yourself, okay, what is it I need to remember? What is it that I am forgetting to connect with within my own diamond? What do I need to reconnect with? What do I need to remember? What tools does my own diamond have that I need to relearn or reread up on?
And we have an opportunity to do this right now. I'm very excited about this. If you're ready to walk us through just a really kind of like a demonstration, I know that you're preparing a longer version of this, but for us right now to be able to experience discovering our diamond within.
Sure. I was very blessed to be given this meditation a very long time ago by my Oriental guide. And I didn't know at the time, but in the Chinese culture, oh,
it looks like
can you still hear me? Good.
Okay. You're back.
So, sorry, yeah, back. There was a bit of a blip there. So I was given this information by my Oriental guide, and in the Buddhist tradition, they focus on the image of a diamond. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to take you into a very short meditation where I'm going to take you in to connect with your own diamond. So please make sure you're comfortable. I don't know whether you're sitting or lying down, but just make sure your feet are flat on the floor, your hands are resting comfortably in your lap, and I just want you to focus on your breath and just take in 3 slow, deep breaths. And every breath you take, I want you to set the intention of calling in the light. And every breath you take, I want you to imagine calling in the highest love and light and peace. And every breath you release is an opportunity to let go of that which no longer serves. And in your own time, if you haven't already done so, just allow your eyes to comfortably close. And just continue focusing on your breath, allowing it to flow naturally, comfortably, and easily. And I want you now to imagine a pure, bright, white light sitting way up in the heavens above you, the soul star. And this star is bright and illuminated. And as you take each breath, so I want you to imagine the light starts to expand more and more. And as you take each breath, so the light draws closer as it starts to expand. And I want you now to imagine that the light is starting to expand over and around your head. caressing you, washing you, sealing you in this pure white light. And I want you now to imagine that this light is going to wash through your spiritual and your physical mind, cleansing your thoughts, cleansing your beliefs, cleansing your philosophies, so that which no longer serves you may be washed away. And as you allow the light to cleanse and flow through and over your mind and your thoughts, I want you to imagine that your mind turns to liquid gold, like the river, easily flowing. And now I want you to imagine that this golden light is going to flow down metaphorically over your spiritual and your physical eyes, cleansing, caressing, and healing your spiritual and physical eyes, so you may see that which you need to see on your life's journey in your greatest good. And I now want you to imagine that the light is flowing through your spiritual and your physical ears, so you may hear that which you need to hear in your greatest good. And with the next breath, allow the light to flow down your nose, your mouth, your lips, caressing, cleansing, washing, so you may physically and spiritually speak and express that which you need to say into your highest authentic good. And I want you now to allow that light to flow down over your throat, and allow the light to caress and cleanse and heal your throat chakra, so that you may express all the things that you need to say. Also, it's the center of your spiritual quest. And I want you now to imagine the light flowing down over your shoulders, wrapping you in a warm, soft, pink blanket. And allow the light to flow down both your upper arms, your forearms, down your hands, leaving through your hands as golden light. And imagine golden drops of rain falling off the ends of your fingers, creating rainbow pools beneath your body. And I now want to take you back into your heart space. And with the next breath, I just want you to focus on your heart. And there in your heart space is a beautiful rose flower. And as you take in each breath, so the petals of the rose gently unfold. And each petal will reveal gifts to you. Some of the gifts you already know, some of the gifts you are currently working on, and some of the gifts you are yet to reclaim. So as you breathe, allow the petals to slowly unfold, revealing the gift of love, the gift of peace, the gift of intuition, the gift of joy, the gift of creativity, the gift of connectedness to all that is, the gift of strength, and the gift of wisdom, and the gift of unconditional love. And as the petals of your rose have fully opened, there in the middle of your rose is your own unique diamond, pure, bright, white, illuminated. It has many facets, your diamond. Some of the facets shine brightly. Some of the facets appear in shadow, and some are still hiding. But the diamond reflects many colours of the rainbow, each holding a different ingredient that makes up who you are. So as we breathe, let's breathe into our diamond and explore your diamond. And as I share some of the colours with you, see what resonates for you in terms of what makes up your unique diamond. Red for strength, for stability, for family, for karma, and for health. Orange for sensuality, for sexuality, for self-knowing, for self-confidence, for self-understanding, and for creativity. Yellow for power, for action, for intuition, for strength. Green for balance, for peace, for harmony. Pink for unconditional love and universal love. Blue for communication, for truth, for expression. Indigo for seeing the truth, for psychic gifts, for connecting to the spiritual realms. And violet for wisdom, for divine knowledge, for universal knowledge. Silver for the angelic realms, and gold for the divine. And all these parts are already part of you, and is just the earth's journey that we've walked, where we've experienced pain, grief, loss, confusion and difficulty, that has led us to cover up our diamonds, that has led us to forget just how bright and beautiful we are. And it's now your time to reconnect to your diamond, your light, your strength, and your gift. So breathe down that light into your diamond and see with each breath your diamond illuminating. And as you take in each breath, imagine like a firework, the energy of the diamond starts to move up through the top of your head and cascades like a waterfall over the whole of your being, washing you, cleansing over your head, your shoulders, your chest, your back, your abdomen, your pelvis, your thighs, your knees, your calves, your ankles, leaving through the soles of your feet as golden roots. And these roots take you deep, deep, deep into Mother Earth, into the Earth Star, where she will hold you, where she will nurture you, where she will love you and teach you about self-love, self-acceptance, and self-knowing. I just want you to connect once more to the diamond within before I bring you back. And I just want you to see yourselves now in a bubble of light, feeling yourselves from the top of your head, down the right side of your body, underneath the soles of your feet, up the left side of your body, and joining again at the crown. And see yourselves sitting in your bubble, and see your diamond, pure, bright, light, waiting for you to work with it, waiting for you to reconnect with it. And as we take the next 3 breaths, just allow the petals to fold over your diamond enough to protect it, so you may choose who you wish to share your light with. So breathe in and allow the petals to tightly fold. Take another breath in and feel your feet on the floor and yourself sitting on the seat, supported by your body. And take another breath in and bring your awareness back to my voice, back to the here and now, and in your own time, bring yourself back to the current space. I hope you all enjoyed that shorter version of the diamond within, and I hope you were all able to connect with your own unique individual diamonds. We all have a diamond that is bright, that is pure. Nothing can destroy your diamond, no amount of abuse, no amount of domestic turmoil, no amount of life difficulties or disease can destroy the diamond. It is indestructible and part of you.
Thank you. That was so beautiful. I'm sure everyone experiencing that also really just received something incredible right now. So much gratitude for you. Just kind of coming back so I can keep asking you questions. Just be a moment.
Absolutely.
So this next question that I have for you is it's a long paragraph, so I'm just going to read through it. It says, when I read the book, one of the areas that jumped out at me, especially because of my work in supporting clients and coming back from their adversity, it's something that just really resonates with me. But I also happened to be going through a challenging breakup at the time that I read your book. And there was a section that talks about the purpose, the people that come into your life and that leave your life. And I know that for those of us that have had that experience of loss, it can be very painful, but the writing that you share about this, I really connected to, and it really supported me. And ironically, the same person was the person that actually introduced us, which is also just so beautiful and divine. But I just would love if you can share a little bit about that wisdom. Anyone that's experiencing any kind of relationship loss or trauma or difficulties right now, what might be helpful for them to hear.
Okay. Well, let me first of all start off by saying that everybody that enters our life isn't there by accident. Everybody has a divine purpose, whether it's as a messenger, whether it's as a teacher, whether it's as a student. But as part of our divine contract, we all agreed in our divine contract to support certain people along their pathway and along their journey, and vice versa. So that's the spiritual bit. In a relationship, invariably, we attract somebody into our life that we resonate with. When we fall in love, what we're actually falling in love with is a reflection of ourselves, the bits of us that we like, that we resonate with easily, that we can accept. And we see this in the other person. So first of all, everything's hunky-dory and everything flows beautifully, and we've got those rose-tinted glasses on. But all of a sudden, it's as if we wake up and the person that we thought we were in love with all of a sudden starts to grate on our nerves, starts to drive us mad, and we start to see their faults, and we start to see their shadows, and every word they say is ridiculous and makes us more and more angry. And what's actually happening is that our partners are highlighting within us aspects of ourselves that we need to work on. If something doesn't activate us, if we don't react to something, then there's no issue. We tend to react to things when we haven't resolved that issue within ourselves. That's the first thing. The second thing is that sometimes in life, we attract people into our life who we need to support. So we might have wisdom to share for the other person because of the life journey that we've already been on. So sometimes someone will come into our life because they're going through something that we've already been through. And I don't know how many of our viewers have been through an experience where they notice there's synchronicity in their friendships or in their relationships, and they go, oh, I know what you're talking about. I've just gone through that. Or, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. I said the very same thing yesterday, or I'm going through that right now. The universe has a way of bringing people into our lives on that same energy vibration so that we can support each other, so that we can learn from each other. But as I said, when something grates on us, when something winds us up, when something it makes us angry, it's invariably because it's as if someone's pointing a finger at us, someone's prodding at something that's not healed. And as we know, if you prod at a wound or you start picking at a wound, it hurts. And if there's an emotional issue that we haven't yet resolved because it's something from early childhood, or it's something that we've experienced in another relationship that we haven't quite released the old pain, and someone says something, then it's as if it reopens the wound. So the first thing is to ask ourselves, I always used to ask myself, why am I reacting to this situation now? What is it that the person has said that is making me react? Because I'm giving them my power. I'm allowing them to make me react. There's a big difference between choosing a response and emotionally reacting. When I'm angry, when I'm frustrated, when I'm in a state of grief, I'm reacting. But when I'm calm and when I'm centered and when I'm coming from a state of unconditional love, I can choose my response. So it's always important in any situation, in any relationship, to ask yourself, first of all, why am I reacting? Am I reacting to what they've said? Or does what they've said remind me of another situation? When was the first time I felt like that? Do they sound like my mother? Do they sound like my father? Do they sound like an old boyfriend? Do they sound like an old girlfriend? Do they remind me of an old lover? So it's important to ask yourself those questions. Sometimes it is the other person trying to provoke, trying to poke, trying to instigate a reaction. And again, we have a right to choose. We either can choose to respond, in which case I'm not giving you my power, or we react, in which case we then start creating a dialogue, a bit like an energetic battle whereby we're toing and froing. And I don't know how many times people have got into this situation where one person starts talking and then another person starts talking and nobody's really listening, and the volume of the words gets louder and louder until both parties are screaming at each other and no one's actually hearing either person speaking, because it's not the words that they're sharing that's important. It's actually the energy, which is about hurt and pain and not being acknowledged or not being listened to, or not feeling that they're loved. And at the end of the day, all we all really want is just to be loved, listened to, acknowledged, and heard. So I don't know if that's answered that question for you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And just really to expand on it, right? This whole experience of any conflict or any, disagreement, to actually really have ourselves be introspective and look within at what it's bringing up with us, I think is such an important thing.
Absolutely, because invariably life, we each perceive life in our own way. We each given a paint palette, and it's how we interpret life as good or bad that defines the colours that we are choosing and how we're interpreting our life. But in truth, all experiences are bland. They have no emotion, but it's how we perceive what someone's saying, how we perceive an experience, how we perceive a situation that actually colours it and influences and affects us as to whether we think it's a bad experience or a good experience, when in truth, all experiences are just that, experiences and opportunities for us to learn more about ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, that kind of leads us into our next question. Speaking of experiences, it's like, just life right now. We talked earlier at the beginning of this about how your book seems to have come out at a really ideal time, because there's a lot of us that are just struggling in confusion and fear and uncertainty. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about how, specific to that, what we're all going through, how this can offer support as well.
First of all, obviously, universally, we're going through huge changes. We're going through huge energetic shifts. And as many people know, going through huge energy. Okay, sorry, I'm here again. As we know, organizations in the universe are crumbling, are crashing. Parliaments, dictatorships are changing. Structures are needing to alter or being disbanded. So the basic structure of the world that we're living in is dramatically changing because the old system doesn't work. And the old system is very much based on materialism, and materialism is based on commodities, that people are valued on what they can produce and what they can make. So everything has a price tag. But the new world is based on unconditional love. It's based on each and every one of our gifts, so that each one of us is a valued member of society because of who we are and what we are and what we bring. So it's very important as part of this new world that we're trying to create, of people connecting to their own strengths, their own abilities, their own gifts, their own wisdom, recognizing that maybe just because they don't have a qualification, or if they're not making loads of money, nevertheless, maybe they're very good at listening. Maybe they're very good at cooking. Maybe they're very good at supporting other people and offering a listening ear or a gentle hand. Maybe they're very good at creating something. Maybe they're good at just sitting and being present with somebody while they talk and they share. Each of our gifts is as important as the other because it defines each and every one of us and makes us unique. So the new world that's being created is very much based on connecting to the qualities of the diamond within. It's about everybody coming from a point of unconditional love and supporting everybody else. It's about learning to share and trusting that what we're sharing will be received lovingly and with respect and valued. It's about recognizing that the world that we live in, Mother Earth, also has an energy, and that it's important that we take care of her and we look after her, because we're also considering the world that we're creating and that our children are going to inherit. It's not just about the materialistic world that was created and the companies that were built up over years and years, because I don't know how many people are realizing now, but look at the value of money. Money no longer has any value at all. And we merely pay money. The money we pay reflects the value that each society gives to an item, to a house, to a car, to a job. But that doesn't quantify what's valuable for each individual person. It doesn't value each individual's gifts, each individual's tools, each individual's unique qualities. And that's the new world that's being created. It's going to be a very different world of people supporting each other, of communities being formed, of people sharing knowledge, sharing wisdom, sharing support, and creating a totally different structure. How quick this will happen, I can't say. But if each and every one of us takes a small step forward on our own path, then eventually that ripples out and we create a major impact. And the more people that light their own candle, the greater and the brighter the light soon becomes.
So beautiful. And this new world that we are all collectively working on together, it's just, I mean, I think so many of us can feel it. You know, we can just really connect to that feeling that this exists and this is, you know, in our future. And yes, we're just going through this moment of releasing the old and building the new. And it's
absolutely. And in life, everything is a cycle of death and rebirth. And death can be painful, especially when people don't want to let go of things. People don't want to let go of old ways. But change demands that we move forward. Change demands that we look at newer ways of doing things, better ways of doing things, and change the structure and the dimensions so that the world can be opened up in a new, unique way. The old needs to die, but it doesn't mean that it gets lost. It just becomes part of the new foundation in a different way. It's a bit like Lego, isn't it? It's, you know, you build a structure and then you take the Lego bits apart and then you create something different, but you're still using the same bricks, but just in a different format, one that works better.
I love that. All right, I think we're at the end of our questions. And I just wanted to share, because one of the other things that happened after I read your book is there was this one mantra that really got me. Like it was just so beautiful, so much so that I had it on as a screensaver on my phone for quite some time,
Yeah.
and I sent it to you. And so I'm going to read it right
Yeah,
now.
I loved it.
It's so gorgeous. And it just really so meaningful. And I think it'll be really meaningful for those that are listening as well. And just another piece of this beautiful book that we're talking about. So I'll just read it. And then I think after that, we'll have time for some questions if any of those of you who are watching want to start putting them in the comments. All right. I am clear and bright, pure love and light. I am glowing and flowing, grounded and protected, sealed in the highest love and light.
And one of the things that I do, Chelsea, is that every day when I'm showering, I actually say that mantra. Wow. So that I use my shower as a means of cleansing physically, but also as a way of bringing the mantra washing over my body, so that I impart the mantra, the affirmation.
Yeah.
So that's a very good way for people to use it. So in the shower, just say, I'm pure, I'm bright, I'm clear, I'm light, I'm flowing, I'm glowing, I'm sealed in the highest love and light. And I use that as I'm scrubbing away the day's dirt or the night's dirt or whatever, and I'm rubbing the mantra into myself.
Well, if you're okay with it, I can put that in the comments so that those that are watching have, are able to have that as a reminder. I'm just checking through to see a lot of beautiful people watching us. Hello, everyone. If anyone has any questions, it doesn't look like there have been any questions that come through, but there are certainly a lot of beautiful comments from the viewers. So just take a moment to see if anyone is going to drop any questions in, and I'll read to you what people are saying. So Jane says, well done, with lots of beautiful clapping and stars and dancing emojis. Shelley Ann says, energy is very truthful. I think this was related to the meditation that we did. Angela says that was beautiful. JJ Bear Hobby says that was lovely. Thank you. Ula says beautiful diamond meditation. Thank you. And Emma would like to know when your next book is out.
Good question, Emma. It might take another 25 years.
And we'll put, I think it's already in the event, but because this is actual video that we're doing is separate, I'll put the link to order your book. I had trouble finding it by Googling it, but it was, it's available on Amazon in the UK. So we have a link for those of you that are wanting to purchase the book. You can find that. I'll just do that in a moment after we get off, and I'll add the mantra. There's the beautiful cover. And of course, Frances, you wrote it in your spiritual pen name, which is not Frances. It is, can you share it with us, your pen name?
Yes, sure. My spiritual name, because I have a spirit name, and it's Frances Kyra Magenta, which means magenta lady. So Frances is my birth name, and Kyra, which means lady, and magenta is the color that I vibrate on. So that's my spirit name, Frances Kyra Magenta. Beautiful. And that's the name that appears on the book.
Beautiful, thank you.
But your friend, your colleague is quite right. I will be starting to put together another book as people start to work with me and come forward, and wisdom start formatting again. Then I will actually write the second book, which is how to apply the wisdoms of the diamond within for our everyday life. That's the next book. And also I'm considering maybe a children's book, because as you've said, I think it's really important that children get given the opportunity to recognize their own gifts and their own strengths and their own tools. And I think as adults, if we can role model this truth for them, I think we'll have a much brighter, a much more rounded, a much more illuminated society in the future. And maybe, you know, a brighter future for everybody, because the children are our future of tomorrow. So we do need to teach them well, as George Benson says.
So much hope for this next generation. And yes, I mean, a book that actually, because I'm thinking about it, you know, having a 4-year-old daughter and a 13-year-old daughter, to be able to share with them this information in a way that, you know, is kind of the way that they would best receive it. So that would be wonderful. So it sounds like you have a whole series coming out, which we look forward to reading down the road. But this has been such a beautiful pleasure. I'm so grateful for you. I'm just so wonderful to have met you and to have had the opportunity to read your book and to learn from you. Thank you so much.
Well, I want to thank you really for giving me this opportunity and for allowing me to initially send you the book, and for being gracious enough to read it, and sharing your views and your thoughts. And I just hope the book, I just act as a channel. And so really my hope and my desire is that the book serves as a catalyst, as a conduit for as many people as possible, to support them in reaching their authentic selves, of reclaiming themselves, of coming home to themselves, their strength and their wisdom, and shining bright into the future, so that they in turn may encourage others to shine bright and connect to their own wisdom and their own truth.
So wonderful. Thank you. And it's just my pleasure as well. So much love to you and to everyone watching. We'll chat again soon. Thank you so much, Frances.
My pleasure. God bless everybody and shine bright.